All right, what's going on? It's your man, Dr. Will, and you guys know the deal. Let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Even if you're watching this on the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Welcome to tonight's masterclass. I'm going to be doing a masterclass for speakers, authors, consultants, and leaders, and those of you that have a message that you want to get out into the world. So as you guys are coming in, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. I have both my online families here, Facebook and IG. So if you see me looking back and forth, that's the reason why, because I want to make sure I'm giving attention to both my online audiences. So wherever you are in the world, I see Phoenix, Arizona in the house. I see VA in the house. So wherever you are in the world, let me know as we get settled and get ready for this master class. If you were with us last night, I told you that I'm going to be doing 5 master classes for you because we're gearing up for our Master the Mic live event here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, where God vacations. And so I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what the participants that invest in Master the Mic are going to get. So for the next 3 days now, this is our second night, so 3 more nights, I'm going to be doing a master class and just really sharing with you some insight into the speaking industry. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Will Moreland. I've been a professional speaker for the last 20 years. I'm the founder of Genius Speakers Academy. I'm a 50-time author. I've been doing this speaking thing for a little bit, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've had the privilege of visiting 50 different countries to speak in 50 different countries. This is not virtually. This has actually been in those countries and spoke in those countries. And so what I love to do now is help other speakers, authors, consultants, and leaders that have a message. I help them get their message out in a bigger way. So if you want to build a business, a brand, and build your bank account, then I'm the individual that helps you do that. I'm the master speaker coach for 6- and 7-figure speakers. And we do this through our certification program, Genius Speakers Certification, inside of our Genius Speakers Academy. But tonight, I'm going to just be pouring into you. We're going to hang out for about 30 minutes. Tonight, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that I see speakers make. I work with speakers literally all around the world, and these are 3 big mistakes that they usually make. So if you're a speaker, you want to stay tuned in. If you know a speaker, author, consultant, or leader, please tag them in this video. Share this video out on your page. I'm going to be sharing some real valuable information tonight. So as I see you coming in, continue to let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. I see Baltimore. I see Atlanta in here. I see Virginia's in the house. So wherever you are in the world, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. And if you can't stay for the full 30 minutes, I do want to tell you about Master the Mic Live. You can go to masterthemiclive.com and learn more about it. That is the unique live training that I'm doing. It's my first one since the pandemic, so I'm really excited to be getting back. I see Curacao in the house. I see Baltimore in the house. I see Pennsylvania in the house. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you really want to take your game to the next level, you want to meet me here January the 11th through the 13th, January the 11th through the 13th, here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be 3 days. I'm telling you, it's going to be 3 days of intense training where I teach you how to craft $1 million keynote that you can build a business around. And I shared this last night. And so once again, I want to put it out in the front so we can just get to the training. I want to put it out in the front for those of you who sign up during this broadcast, masterthemiclive.com. And we'll give you 30 minutes after the broadcast. So if you sign up during the broadcast or 30 minutes after the broadcast, I'm immediately going to send you 3 of my best-selling speaker books: Dominate Your Backyard, How to Build a Thriving Speaker Business, Paid to Share. And then as an additional bonus, you're going to get this manual, How to Build $1 Million Bankable Brand. If you sign up for the training January 11th through the 13th, Master the Mic, you're going to get those bonus materials even before you get to the training. So this masterthemiclive.com. But still stay. Listen, what I'm getting ready to share with you tonight is going to be worth your 30 minutes. I shared with you, if you saw the advert, I said, if you invest 30 minutes with me, I'll transform your mind and I'll change your business. And so that's what we're going to get into. So I'm going to share with you tonight 3 biggest mistakes speakers make. And this is coming from someone that's been in the profession for 20 years. I'm one of the highest paid speakers in the industry. Once again, I coach and train 6- and 7-figure speakers every single day. This is what I do. So you're not just listening to some talking head, somebody who decided to start coaching during the pandemic. I've been doing this for a long time. As they say, check my receipts. You can Google me. So go Google me, find out. If you don't know who Dr. Will is, go Google me, find out some of the things that I'm doing inside of the speaking industry. So let's get right into tonight's training, the 3 biggest mistakes that speakers make. So here's number 1. Number 1 is the biggest mistake that I see, or one of the 3 biggest mistakes that I see speakers make, is they fail to define what problem they solve. They fail to define what problem they solve. So I want you to write that in the chat. What problem do I solve? Write that in the chat, because I want you to think about this. Once we get finished with this training, I want you to think about this. What problem do I solve? And then how clear are you in your marketing and your messaging in delivering that? How clear are you? So what do I mean by how clear are you? If I went to your website right now, if you typed in your website and I went to your website right now, within 5 seconds, would I know what problem you solve? Let me give you an example of what I mean. If you look at this box right here, this little box of medicine, and you guys see that? Right here, highlighted in red, it says motion sickness. So this medicine right here deals with motion sickness. So if I'm looking at a C, and this is what happens in our industry, people are looking, event planners, organizations, they're looking at a sea of speakers, but they all have a problem that they want to get solved. And so when they're looking at your website, when they're looking at your social media, when they're looking at your marketing, can they know right now if their company has a motion sickness problem? Can they immediately identify that you're the solution? Can they immediately identify that you are the solution? And so many speakers, they're all over the place. They haven't defined the problem that they solve. And companies, especially now, post-pandemic, companies are looking not for motivation. They're looking for people that solve problems. They're looking for people that solve problems. So if you cannot clearly state what problem you solve, then you're not going to get hired and you're going to have a problem staying booked. Let me give you some more examples. Let me use this one. So this one right here, Mucinex. Right away, it tells you that this medicine is for cold, flu, and sore throat. So if you have a cold, you have a flu, or you have a sore throat, they immediately let you know that they can help you immediately. So when I come to your website, Are you immediately letting me know? So the moment I get to your website, you should have some type of signage that says, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I do. Before you go, listen, they didn't tell me, listen, they're not spending any time writing. Let me tell you how long this product was in development. We developed this, and here's my story behind developing this. That's not what they're sharing. They're immediately sharing that we handle motion sickness. We handle motion sickness. Companies, organizations, they don't care about your story. They care if you can solve their problem. Now, in telling your story, if your story solves my problem, amen. But they need to immediately know that this is the problem you solve. So some of you are leadership experts. Some of you are sales experts. Some of you are transition experts. Some of you are DEI experts. When they come to your website, they need to immediately know this is the subject that you handle. Now, this is what it says here. Watch this. It says prevents and relieves nausea, dizziness, and vomiting. That's in small print. But in big print, because I know what some of you are saying, well, Dr. Will, I do a lot of other stuff as well. I'm not saying don't have that on there, but immediately the number one problem that you solve, motion sickness, that's what needs to be on your signage. That's what needs to be in your marketing. I need to know you're the motion sickness individual. You're the motion sickness expert. Does that make sense? Type in the chat, that makes sense. Type in the chat, that makes sense. So when you come to Master the Mic, in January, I'm going to teach you how to hone in on your expertise. I'm going to teach you how to hone in on your expertise. I'm going to show you what you should be marketing about yourself. So when you come to Master the Mic, you're going to get absolute clarity on what your website should look like, what your messaging should look like, how you should be interacting on social media. You're going to be a problem solver. I watch so many people and I look at their social media, and you're not letting your ideal client know the problem you solve. You're not letting them know. So I don't know. So when it comes to referring, man, I don't know what Will does. I know he speaks, but I don't know what he speaks about. If someone is saying that about you, you are leaving money on the table. If someone is saying, I know they're a speaker, but I'm not for sure what they speak about, you're leaving money on the table. Does that make sense? So we don't want to be leaving any money on the table. So when you come to Master the Mic Live, we're going to teach you how to do this. Pick up all that money that's on the table. So number one of the biggest mistakes that speakers make is they haven't defined the problem they solve. Number two, visibility. Visibility. Here's one of the biggest mistakes that speakers do. They're not visible. You're the best kept secret. No one knows about you. No one knows about you. So we're now living in a marketplace where you have Facebook Live, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have TikTok, you have Snapchat, you have LinkedIn, you have YouTube. Those are just 7 platforms right now. 7 platforms. Now, you don't have to be on all the platforms. Find out which platforms your ideal client is on. But you have an opportunity to share your knowledge, to share how you solve problems on a regular basis, but you're not showing up. You have no visibility. You're the best kept secret. You're the best kept secret. Let me tell you a story. For those who don't know me, I lived in Germany for 15 years. I built my business over there and I did a lot of international work over there. And then in 2010, I came to Phoenix, Arizona. I had never been to Phoenix, Arizona, never lived here, didn't have any connections at all. So literally when I got to Phoenix, I was starting from ground zero. I was starting from ground zero as it relates to individuals knowing who I was and what problem I solved. So when I got here, I said every single day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up on Facebook, and I'm going to offer information every day, Monday through Friday, on Facebook. So going from ground zero, and I'm just sharing this with you, not to brag and not to boast or anything like that and not to flex, but I just want to show you that when I'm telling you, it works if you work it. I went from literally no one knowing me. And so I want you, even for those of you who know me, how did you come about knowing me? How did you come about knowing me? More than likely, you met me via a social media platform. That's how you met me. That's how you came to know me. And so in 2010, I made a commitment that every single day, Monday through Friday, I was going to show up. And what happened when I started showing up? What happened when I got, what happened when I started to show up, when I started to be consistent? People then, when they're in their rooms, thinking about a speaker, thinking about someone to come and talk to their organization, I was on their mind. We call it TOMA, top of the mind awareness. Type that in, TOMA, top of the mind awareness. TOMA, top of the mind awareness. Top of the mind awareness. And here's the thing, those 7 platforms that I just communicated to you, all those platforms are free. All those platforms are free. It only costs you time. It only costs you time investment. And many of you are doing yourself a disservice because you're not showing up. You're not visible. How can they hire you if they don't know you exist? See, I know people have told you not to toot your own horn, but here's the problem with that philosophy. If you don't toot your own horn, then the question is, who's tooting it then? I'll wait for you. If you're not tooting your own horn, then who's tooting it? Are you waiting for somebody else to toot it? Well, let me ask you, how is that going for you? So in marketing is your creative way of tooting your own horn. And you want to do it in a way where you're serving people. So you're not just tooting your horn to say, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me over here. No, you're showing up on social media and you're serving by sharing with people your excellence, sharing with them your knowledge. And then you've all heard this, right? People love to do work with people they what? Like, know, and trust. Well, how are people going to get to like you if they never see you? How are people going to get to know you if they never see you? Let me do for those of you who know me, let me do a little practice. Let me see if this works. I have a son. If you know my son's name, type it into the chat. I just want to show people. Now, how did you get to know my son's name? If you know my son's name, type it into the chat. For those of you who know me, what is my son's name? I see you, Dr. Walker. I see you, Lotus. I see you, Uric. All these are coming in. I see you, Dr. McKenzie. I see you, Dr. LaDanya. Champ. Champ. That's how do you know my son's name is Champ? Because I show up every day. And in the midst of those communications over the years, I've shared with you. So you've gotten to know me, but you've gotten to know my son. But you've gotten to know my son. You've gotten to know my daughter, Kara. You see that? So now I'm building, oh man, I like this guy. I now know this guy. I know something else about him other than that he's a speaker coach and he helps speakers. I know something else about him. This is how you get people to know, like, and trust you. Now, how did you guys get to trust me? Because I've been consistent for 12 years. Check my receipts. Go all the way back down if you want to, my timeline. Go all the way back down to 2010 and see if this guy has wavered from his message. See if this guy, I have just on Facebook alone, I've done over, in a 10-year period, if you just at the minimum of 100 videos a year over 10 years, it's 1,000 videos I've provided. It's 1,000 videos. You didn't pay me for that. But I showed up so I could be visible. And so I didn't become one of the highest paid speakers in the industry by accident. It was very intentional. It was very intentional. So the biggest mistake that most of you are making is you're not visible. You're not visible. And right now, see, when I first started out, there was no Facebook Live. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter as we know it now. There was no Snapchat. There was no TikTok. And to get on TV, to do a commercial, or to be able to get on one of those segments, you had to go through all the gatekeepers. Now, there are no gatekeepers. All I did was turn on my phones, and I'm direct to consumer. I'm direct to my potential client. I'm direct. And this is the same thing that will happen for you, but you have to be consistent. See, if you start, and then now people start depending on you to be their source of information, but they don't know when you're open for business, when you're closed. Think about if you went to a store and that store on the hours said whenever. I want you to think about this. If on the sign for hours, it just said whenever. We're open whenever. We close whenever. If they put that on the sign, how confident would you be in recommending that business to anybody? You would say, I don't know when they're open. I don't know what their hours are. That's the same thing about your business and your brand. No one would trust that business. No one would trust that brand. Would you take your car to a mechanic that said, my hours are whenever? Maybe I'll be here Monday. Maybe I'll open back up on. Well, that's what happens when you're not consistent. That's what happens when you're not consistent. And that's what impacts your visibility. And visibility is a huge part of your success, because if they don't know you, how can they hire you? If they don't know you, how can they hire you? And how are they going to get to know you? So now you have these mediums. I'm not saying you got to be on all of them, but you need to choose at least two of them to start showing up consistently and being visible. Number 3, before we get to number 3, number 1 was what? Define what problem you solve. What problem do you solve? Number 2, visibility. And then number 3, guys, here's the big humdrummer. Number 3, follow up. People have most speakers have a weak follow-up game. So if someone comes to you and they say, you're at a networking event, and they say, oh, I would love for you to come and speak to our company. What is your follow-up game like? Are you waiting for them to remember to reach out to you to come invite you to speak? Or are you proactive? Are you on the offense, emailing them, calling them if need be, to follow up with them. See, once you understand that every individual that you come into contact with could be a potential lead. So now let me ask you something. Let me get my handy dandy calculator here. So let's just say your speaking fee is $5,000. That's your speaking fee, $5,000. Let's say for every 100 people you come into contact with via networking, I'm not just talking about somebody, you meet at the store or something like that, but in a networking sense, or in a sense where someone showed some interest in your services. For every 100 people, let's say 10 of them hired you at your fee of $5,000. That would be $50,000 for you. So I want you to think about this. So for every 10 people that you follow up with, for every 100 people that you follow up with, 10 of them want to hire you. That's $50,000. So how much money are you leaving on the table if you don't follow up? That's not just a card that you put in your drawer. That's potentially $10,000 or $5,000 or $50,000 that you put to the side. So every time someone says to me, Dr. Will, we would love for you to come and talk to our company, our organization, our school, or whatever, I get their information. I come back to my office and I immediately, within 24 hours, send them an email. I remind them where we met. I remind them of the conversation that we had. I look forward to coming working with your organization, with your school, with your association. Let's get the ball rolling. Do you have some events already in mind that I could service you? And so I open up the dialogue and I wait for them to email me back. If they don't email me back, I follow up again. I know life can get hectic. I wanted to ensure that you didn't miss my previous email that I sent on Monday about us working together. Remember, whatever your keynote price is, that's what you're leaving on the table if you don't follow up. And once again, how much does it cost to send an email? Somebody tell me, how much does it cost to send an email? How much does it cost your email provider? How much do they charge you to send an email? How much do they charge you to send an email? Somebody tell me, how much are you getting charged to send an email? So once again, these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about at Master the Mic. When we talk about helping you build out $1 million keynote and building a business that you love, these are some of the intricate things that we're going to really be breaking down. And I'm going to show you all of my strategies and how I do this, how I close on 6-figure contracts and $50,000 contracts. I'm going to teach you this when you come to Master the Mic here in Arizona, January the 11th through the 13th. 3 days you're going to hang out with me, and I'm telling you, your mind is going to be blown away with the information that you get. Thank you. So it costs you nothing, right? It costs you nothing to send an email, but on the other side of you sending that email, what's the potential there? 2,500, 5,000, 10,000 that you're possibly leaving on the table because you didn't want to follow up. Something that cost you nothing more than your time to send a 5-minute email, that could possibly be worth $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to you. So you got to follow up. How many people this year in 2022 said to you, I would love to work with you. I would love for you to come in, but you didn't follow up with them. Make it your business. Beginning of 2020, before we get out of this year, make it your business to email them and say, hey, I know we didn't work together this year, but I look forward to working with you in 2023, because usually the event that they had in 2022, they're probably going to have that same event in 2023 and 2024 and 2025. So how much money are you? I have some clients that for the last 10 years, they've brought me back every single year. So that one follow-up has turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars because of that one follow-up. Because of that one follow-up has turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars because they bring me back every year. So what are you missing out if you don't follow up? If you don't follow up, what are you missing out on? You're missing out on a huge pot of revenue for your business. Some of you are looking to hire employees, where you're not going to be able to hire employees until you get your revenue up. And your revenue is in your follow-up. Your revenue is in your follow-up. You got to imprint that into your brain. My revenue is in my follow-up. My revenue is in my follow-up. And here's the thing about it. When we talk about visibility and when we talk about following up, these are things that you should become a master of, because the entry to these things are free. For you to turn on your phone and start sharing information with people, to raise your visibility in the market, for you to follow up and send emails, it costs you nothing. If you set aside an hour a day, every day I'm going to do a video and I'm going to share information. If you're a real estate professional, if you're a lawyer, if you're a chiropractor, this philosophy and this strategy works with every profession. Every profession. If you're a dentist, taking 5 minutes out your day, how to reduce cavities, how to floss better, just sharing information. What is that going to lead to? More revenue. Why? This is what happens when people get to know, like, and trust you. You become their trusted source. You become their trusted source. But you're not going to become their trusted source if you're not consistent. And so you may start off once a week. Just like someone's favorite television show comes on Monday night, be that to that individual. Every Monday, I know they give great dental tips. Every Wednesday, I know they give great real estate tips. Every Friday, I know they give great financial tips. Whatever industry you're in, you should be the subject matter expert in that industry. Why? Because everybody wants to work with the subject matter expert. So by you showing up every single day or once a week, if that's what you set it up for, now that's going to be 52 times a year where they're seeing you. So let me ask you, just in your industry, in your vicinity, how many other people are doing that, showing up with a consistency? So if you're the dentist, the real estate agent, the financial planner, the speaker, the author, the consultant that is showing up on a regular basis, that's how you stand out from the competition. That's how you stand out from the competition. I don't worry about competition. I can't control how many people want to be speakers, authors, or consultants. I can't control that. But you know what you're not going to beat me on? You're not going to beat me on consistency. You may be a better speaker than me, a better consultant than me, a better author than me, but you're not going to show up more than me. I guarantee it. You're not going to show up more than me. You're not going to be more consistent than me. Why? Because I can control that. And if you happen to be as consistent as me, then let the universe go, baby. Let the best person win. But see, I can go back 10 years. I can go back 10 years, a catalog. I can go back 10 years with a catalog of consistency. Not too many people can bring their catalog of consistency up to me. And that can happen for you as well. I want you guys to think about this. If you said, I'm going to do 2 videos a week, That would be 104 videos a year. How much of your competition is doing that? So now you're in front of your potential client 100 plus times. If you did it 3 times a week, that would be 150 times. They already say the average consumer, the average client, they have to have contact with you at least 7 to 12 times before they're ready to purchase from you. So how can you speed up those touches? How can you accelerate that? By being more visible. I'm going to be on your video. I'm going to be on your Facebook. I'm going to be on your email. I'm going to send you a text. You're going to hear from me. So guys, these are just 3 of the biggest mistakes that I see so many speakers make, that if they corrected these things, number 1, what problem do you solve? Identifying the problem that you solve. What problem do you solve? Number 2, being visible, showing up. And number 3, following up with potential clients. Following up. If you do these 3 things, your business will drastically change. I'm telling you guys, your business will drastically change. I went from nobody knowing who I was, nobody, to being named one of the top speakers in America, to being one of the highest paid speakers in America. And it's because I committed. I know what problem I solve. I'm visible. I show up every single day. I show up every single day. Every single day, Monday through Friday, I show up. I do a video every single day. Daily Insights with Dr. Will. Every single day. Daily Insights with Dr. Will. I show up every day. And then I follow up. I follow up. I follow up. I have this thing. Let me just show this to you. I have this thing that I call my 10 before 10. It's 10 things that I need to do so I can have a successful day. And I do it all before 10 a.m., right? These are 10 things. I'm just going to show it to you. We're getting ready to close out here, but I just want to share this with you. 10 things I do every single day to ensure that I have a good day. And I've already ensured that I have a good day 10 a.m. in the morning, before 10 a.m. in the morning. I just learned that, number 1, I wake up at 3 o'clock, and emergencies and problems, for whatever reason, they don't wake up that early. They don't want to mess with you. And so by 10 o'clock, I've already secured my good day. And this is what I do. 10 things. Number 1, I pray, I read, I meditate, I go for a walk, I journal, I connect with a family or friend. I send out a correspondence to 25 new contacts. And number 8, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I follow up. I follow up with a potential client. Follow up right there. It's in my DNA. Number 9, I laugh. And number 10, I create. I write books. I write programs. These are the 10 things I do every single day before 10 a.m. So I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I start my process. And by 10, the most important things I need to do to have a fantastic day. This covers my personal, my spiritual, and my business. Those 3 areas of my life. My personal, my spiritual, and my business are all covered in those 10 things. And by 10 a.m., I'm having a great day. I've reached 25 new prospects. I followed up with prospects that have already contacted me. And so I'm teaching you what I've done to go from no one knowing me to having an international brand, going into 50 different countries to speak, going to 40 of the 50 different states here in America. And so one of the things about our training that's so good is I'm not just sitting at the top of the hill telling you what I did 15 years ago. I'm telling you what I do today, because I'm an active speaker as well. I go out and speak, and I speak about 20 to 30 times a year. And so I'm telling you what actually works. So when you come to Master the Mic in January, the 11th through the 13th, go to masterthemiclive.com. Get one of the 20 spots. I'm only working with 20 speakers because I'm going to be actually hands-on with you, and I can't be hands-on 200 people, but I can manage 20 of you in these 30 days, in these 3 days, And so go to masterthemiclive.com. And we're going to have a fantastic 3 days. I'm telling you, if you invest in yourself and invest in your business, you'll get a return on your investment. I'm safe to say that. You'll get a return on your investment. So, guys, that's what I have for you. I'm doing 3 more of these. So tomorrow night, we'll be back our regular time. I just finished speaking. That's why we moved it to 8 o'clock tonight. But tomorrow, it'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We moved the time tonight because I had to speak earlier, but we'll be back tomorrow with another masterclass. I hope you learned something here. Once again, tag somebody in this, share this information out with somebody, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Listen, go to Master the Mic right now. When you go, if you join in right now, you're going to get these 3 best-selling books along with this master manual, how to build a $1 million bankable brand. And those are just some of the goodies that you're going to get before you even come to the training January 11th through the 13th right here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, where God vacations. Get out of that cold and come hang out in the West, the Wild Wild West. All right, guys, have a fantastic evening. I'll see you tomorrow night.